have as my special guest today, Sharon Harris. Sharon, it's so good to see you again and have you on the show.
Well, thank you, Barbara. It's good to be seen and not viewed, as they say.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
You're perfectly welcome. I had the opportunity to meet Sharon at one of the meetings of Women Who Inspire. And she didn't talk that much, but what she said really, really caught my attention. And just how much you were devoted to Lupus of Detroit. And just all the work that you've done. You're just a phenomenal young lady.
Well, thank you.
Because of all the work that you've done, from where God has brought you through all of what you've gone through. And that you've just done a marvelous job. And I commend you for that.
Thank you.
Sharon is CEO of Lupus of Detroit. It is a 501(c)(3) organization.
Yay.
Yeah. And she's soon to be totally devoted to it as a full-time staff person.
Yes.
We're just going to say that that's going to happen. So, Sharon, you have such a wonderful life in the sense of how God has really just walked you through. I see it as God just walking you through life and had his hand on you the whole time to bring you to be devoted to Lupus of Detroit. And so tell us about how you got started. And I know you were in college when you were diagnosed. And just how God has really brought you to this point and kept you vibrant and not bitter.
I like that. And Barbara, you just brought a little tear to my eye when you said how God has walked me through and kept his hand on me. I never thought of it like that. But you're absolutely right. I started having a lot of stomach pains my sophomore year. I was a student at Florida A&M University. No family in Tallahassee, just me and loving friends. And I would go to the ER and they would give me something to calm my stomach and just send me back to my dorm room or send me back to my apartment. And it wasn't until it started manifesting on my face that I knew there was a problem. My mother and family came down for graduation in December of 2001. And my mom and I, we play a lot. And she said, Sharon, what's wrong with your face? And I said, well, Mom, what's wrong with your face? And she's like, no, I'm serious. Your face is turning the color of the inside of your hand. And I've always been a person, I wash my face twice a day, in the morning and at night. And when I looked in the mirror, my mother was absolutely right. My cheeks were turning white. My nose was turning white. My eyebrows were turning white. And my ears were starting to turn white. Just never noticed it. Just the stress of wanting to do well in school. Looking for a job. Getting my family and friends down. Just coordinating everything for graduation. Never noticed that my face was changing colors. And so I told her once I moved back to Detroit upon graduation, I would go to the doctor. Well, I went to the dermatologist the end of January of 2002. And when the dermatologist looked at me, she said, you have discoid lupus.
Wow.
And I had never in my life heard of lupus.
They'd never heard the term before.
Never heard the term before. And she said, well, we'll do a skin biopsy and we'll do blood work to determine if the preliminary diagnosis was accurate. And I remember sitting on that cold steel table in her office, and a single tear fell out my eye as she was doing the skin biopsy. What happens is they take skin from your eyebrow and they sew you back up and they put the skin in the vial. And at the time I thought that was the most inhumane thing in the world. Inhumane? How are you just going to cut me open, and sew it back up?
Okay.
And I got the call about a week later, February 4th, 2002, that I had discoid and systemic lupus. I have lupus of the skin and lupus of the blood.
And I believe you said that's very rare.
That's extremely rare. So I said, wow, I was spoken out twice. And they started me on the cocktail of medications. And there was no lupus drug specifically for lupus. So it was a cocktail. And that month, February, had 28 days. And I lost 30 pounds in 28 days.
30 pounds. Was it the medication?
And the lupus.
And the
lupus. The lupus combined. The hair started coming out. I was unable to walk down steps. My knuckles swollen so big. I remember one time feeling brave. I'm just going to get up and just do whatever I wanted to do. And caught myself washing my face. And when I took the face towel over my face, I went over my eyelashes. Those were painful. My eyelashes, that pain, it's like just jolting my body, just all over. And just went through a lot emotionally because I was in my early 20s. that's the prime of your life.
You just graduated from college.
Yeah, I'm a new
ready for the world.
Ready for the world, and had a journalism degree. Want to go work for people and do all this, see the world. But instead, the whole dynamic shifted. My home was very lively, with close knit family, and now the house was quiet because Sharon was sick. Now, you can't make too much noise. Now Sharon is sick, So I felt bad because of that. I couldn't hold down a job at the time. The hair was falling out and just feeling bad from head to toe. One evening in May, I went to Bible study. And the subject was, if today was your last day on earth, what would you do? What would you do? And this is on Wednesday. So I go home, and I get on, I'll see the world. That's what I'm saying to myself. Went online and saw that the now defunct Masaba Airlines, it was a subsidiary of the now defunct Northwest Airlines, they were having an open house for flight attendants the very next day. The very next day, that Thursday, at the hangar in Romulus. And so I went to the open house, and we had to get up and why did we want to be a flight attendant and all of that good stuff. And there were like 100 people in this hangar, for this open house. And I was one of like maybe 10 that was selected for an interview the next day on that Friday. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is cool. I made the interview. But, of course, went online, Googled, oh, it's hard to pass the interview. That's what they're saying on Google. Oh, it's difficult, and it takes years for people to become a flight attendant.
I never heard.
Barbara, I never knew.
Years?
They say years because it's, it's so intense and everybody wants to be a flight attendant. I'm like, oh, okay. But I have forgotten that I'm a child of God.
All right now.
You don't believe all that stuff that you hear, you read on the internet when you Google. That's what I tell you, when you get sick, you don't Google. And I didn't know that. So sometimes ignorance is good. So I went to the interview. Yeah, it was intense. It was a panel interview, very intense.
Okay.
And I guess it had to be because, me and all of my brilliance, I tried to be a flight attendant immediately after 9/11.
Okay.
9/11 happened in 2001. This is 2002. Maybe, 6-7 months later. And lo and behold, less than a week after the interview, I was offered a job as a flight attendant.
All right. Wow.
So I went to training wearing wigs. I didn't pretty much have any hair, and I was a flight attendant.
All right. And you did that for
6 years. For 6 years. Because I figured if lupus was going to get me or kill me or whatever, or have its way, it was going to come get me in London. It was going to come get me, in Aruba. In Paris. It will come get me from the top of the Eiffel Tower. So that was my reasoning for becoming a flight attendant. And I had a ball.
See the world.
I was going to see the world, because if lupus was going to end it all for me, it was going to be on an airplane.
As a young lady, 18, 19, 20 years old, with the potential of a disease that would not allow you to live to adulthood, so they say.
Right, so they say, yeah.
How did you respond to that initial
initial
news and of the diagnosis?
Initially, what's so funny, I got angry. Well, I guess that's normal. That's normal. And I remember after doing the biopsy, I remember walking to my car with my fist balled up. I never forget. I had on a FAMU alumni shirt, and on some jeans and some little black boots. And I remember walking to, and it's funny that you remember, walking through the parking lot of Henry Ford Hospital with my fist balled up. Barbara saying, okay, Lupus, if you want to fight, we can fight.
All right.
And I remember I was born Davidson and Linwood. I said, boy, you about to make me go Linwood. I'm not going down without a fight. But that pep talk gets altered when the pain start kicking your butt, and that hair start falling out. It's like, okay, I'm gonna say uncle. This is enough. So that whole demeanor started to change when some pain set in. But I was angry at first, and when all you can do is lay in the bed, that's all I could do.
Because of the pain.
Because of the pain, and my mother get in the bed with me, and her body heat, they're just trying to give me some kind of ease, put me at some kind of ease, and she would just hold me. I'm the only child, so my mother would spoon with her child, in the bed, because I was miserable. It was so funny. God always sets you up. I was a radio DJ when I was in college.
Feisty young lady.
Yeah, I was a radio DJ, and so what was comical is that the gospel slots were always open.
Okay.
Nobody wanted to do gospel. That wasn't cool.
Okay.
But in order to get your foot in the door, you had to, well, I shouldn't say you had to, but it's a quicker way to be a gospel DJ. So you can do like one of the urban mix shows, with the more popular artists. So I did gospel, and so when it was my turn, Barbara, to be promoted to do like one of the drive time shows, I'm gonna stay here, with the Clark sisters and with Fred Hammond. I didn't want that promotion again. And when you know that, when I got sick, that's what helped me. But those songs helped me as I was laying there in the silence. God will take care of you.
He was speaking through the songs.
No weapon formed.
Yeah.
That helped me way more than the block is hot. that helped me much more than the popular culture songs. And I said, God, I see what you were doing. Because really, when it was time, okay, Sharon, there's a shift available 1 to 4, with the R&B artists. I said, no, I'll stay in gospel. And even then, God opened some doors where I would go speak at local churches. I remember this was before my diagnosis, so I was still in school.
Okay.
So when I was diagnosed back here in Metro Detroit, that's what helped me. My mind fell on the teachings of the songs, the gospel songs. And I said, well, God will set you up, and you don't even know that you're being set up.
And He was preparing you for the great work that you're doing now.
He would put for things to come.
And He knew what He had put in you.
Yes.
Your personality.
Yeah.
Your tenacity.
Yeah. And even my family. Because growing up, my mother listened to a lot of Mahalia Jackson. And Aretha Franklin's gospel album. That's why it's one of my favorites now. The, Martha, don't you weep. Mary, don't you weep. Mary, don't you weep. And, so that's what I remember as I was going through in those many, many months of being unemployed and sick. So that's what I remember is, and it's what's important, what you put in your child's life. Because that's what I drew on. I remember my mother watching the Robert Tiltons and things like that, as a child. And so that's what really pulled me through. Not to say that it wasn't difficult, because it was.
But you had more than the average person that don't know Christ.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
You had the strength.
Even
when you may not have been really cognizant of it, it was there.
It was there.
It was rooted in you.
Right.
And so God just brought you through.
And that He did.
For the great work.
For the great.
And sometimes He takes us through those difficult times so that we would have the compassion. I know being a nurse, I was a better nurse after I'd had a couple of surgeries and went through the pain.
Yeah.
And being a nurse also, Sharon, your response to all of this was how God would have had it to be.
Right.
Because I've seen people get diagnoses and then they just give up. And you didn't give up.
No, I don't know. I don't know why I'm so feisty. I really don't, because my mom is very mild-mannered, and growing up in Selma, and she said they were taught to be seen and not heard. And she said, Lord, here I go, got this little Detroit daughter who just as feisty. And I think because the anger that, it's like, Lupus, you're really going to try to test me when I've always tried to do the right thing and live for God. And as when you and I spoke earlier, God knew who to entrust this with. Yes. I see it now. It's not a punishment. And a lot of people my age, or even some older Barbara, they don't know what they're here for. I know my calling. Yes. It's clear as day.
And I know when I was working in Texas and I was working with the American Cancer Society, and when we would have to go and talk to patients before they would have a mastectomy, I would always have to take someone that had a mastectomy.
Okay.
Because I can talk about the process,
right?
What happens during the disease process, but I couldn't talk about what it was like.
Living with it.
Exactly. So God knew the work that He had for you.
Yeah.
And if you didn't, you can't talk about lupus. You can talk about lupus where someone else couldn't talk about lupus in the same way. So He knew the work He had for you. So you can talk from an experiential point of view.
And you're so right, because how can I try to comfort somebody who lost their hair if I hadn't lost it?
If you hadn't lost it. I know what it feels like.
Right, to know what it feels like. Or, my face hadn't been affected by the discoid lupus. How can I talk to someone else? I can only empathize, but I can say, girl, it's rough. You better wear your sunscreen. That kind of thing.
Your face is so beautiful now. The skin
God.
Just God.
Just God. No, I did. I was prescribed like a topical cream, steroid cream, to bring my color back. And it was so funny. I remember going through it whenever I would talk about the discoid lupus when it was present. I would always say, well, I have lupus. And what's so funny, there were always people of God, and they would go, baby, it's okay. God heals all manners of illness and disease. But I tried to beat them to the punch, let them know I wasn't born like this. When in actuality, I was. You know, in actuality, I was born like this, and it's just another way. Like you say, God has taken me somewhere. And I, now, thinking back, hindsight, I would always try to cut people off, Barbara, when they wanted to, because I thought they were looking at me trying to size me up, like, what's wrong with her face? So I would just tell them. I mean, we would just sit down together and I'll go, this is lupus. This is, I would always. And I remember people were like, okay, it's lupus, and and I always thought that maybe people will be mean to me because of the discoid lupus on my face. I remember coming home one year from Tallahassee, and the sky cap that was pushing me through the little Tallahassee airport. And I still pray for this guy to this day. His name is Emmanuel. He was a Creole guy from New Orleans. Okay. And I pray for this guy, and to this day, he was like, "You're still pretty." Oh, okay, well, because you put all of these limits and on yourself and how you think people will perceive you. And it's like, Sharon, girl, nobody think about you like in real life. Nobody's thinking about you. And God
just has strategically people in place.
He has his angels
to encourage you.
Me.
Well, you have done an awesome job with setting up the foundation, Lupus of Detroit. You'd worked in an office in St. Clair.
1 year, I had moved back to Tallahassee in 2007 to start an eyelash business. Okay. So I was in Tallahassee. I guess I wasn't adhering to the calling on my life, and came down with a terrible lupus flare. Well, my rheumatologist in Tallahassee literally patted me on my back in the fall of 2008 and told me good luck. He told me good luck. There's nothing else he could do. My kidneys were turning on me. My kidneys were turning. And I'm like, good luck? What does that mean? And the lupus.
To a feisty young lady. So, what does that mean?
What does that mean? I got a lot of life to live. Do I need my kidneys, doc? So I didn't immediately tell my mother. And the lupus started manifesting again on my face. And one evening, I mixed some Theraflu with my lupus medication and decided to call home, talking absolutely crazy. Barbara, my mother let out this yelp that I never want to hear again in my life, because I'm her only child, and I'm 1,300 miles away in Tallahassee. And the last plane for Atlanta to connect to Tallahassee had left for the evening. And I called my mother talking so crazy. And I remember saying, Mom, okay, I'm going to take a nap, but when I get up, I'm going to call you. And I remember waking back up. It was about 9-something that evening. And she said, well, and she was frustrated. She wasn't very computer savvy, and she was trying to get a ticket to come to get to Tallahassee. And she said, it'll only let me get a one-way ticket, but that's okay. I said, Mom, I'm okay. And I told her what I did. I mixed my medication with some cough medication, some cold medication. And she said, Sharon, just come home. Just come home. So my birthday is in March, and I said, Mom, that's my birthday present to you. I'll come home. And before I knew it, Barbara, my mom and my cousin were on my doorstep. Wow. He drove me home in my car, and she packed up my apartment. And the girl, because I wasn't near the ending of my lease, the girl who subbed up my apartment for the remainder of the lease, her mom had lupus. Wow. So by my birthday in 2009, I was back in Detroit, angry. My car, I left my car in my mother's backyard, fully with a TV in it, my radio, all my clothes, because I knew God was going to heal me. And I was going back to Tallahassee to do eyelashes. That was my goal. I was going back to Tallahassee to do eyelashes, Barbara, because that's what I wanted to do. Little did I know God was working.
He was working.
God was working. So I started applying for jobs once I had gotten better. And I've always been a person to like items so I can represent. Like I'm a graduate of Renaissance High School, so I have Renaissance t-shirts, I have FAMU t-shirts, I have Detroit t-shirts galore, representing for the city in which I was born. And so I have lupus. So I said, well, I want a lupus t-shirt. Okay. So I remember applying for a job in one of the buildings on West Grand. Ironically now, that's right next to where we host our walks through Center Park.
Wow.
But I didn't know that at the time. So I remember we're dropping off this application, and it's at the Cadillac building.
Okay.
Then so I said, well, I'm going to go to St. Clair Shores to pick up a T-shirt from the lupus organization that was there. So I get there, and the executive director, Chuck Pottinger, wonderful guy. So we just start, small talk. What's your background? Well, yeah, I graduated in '01 with a degree in journalism. I'm not doing anything with it now. I'm looking for work. So I saw his little antenna go up. I didn't think anything of it. He said, well, we can use an intern here a couple of days a week, and I'm saying to myself, intern? I'm in my late 20s. What I'm interning for? That's what I'm thinking. Well, hey, beggars can't be choosy, So he said, forward me your resume. So I forwarded him my resume, and you know it's God when somebody says, Sharon, I have to pay you. You sure can.
I have no problem
with that, Chuck. No problem. And so I started there just doing marketing work 5 days a week, not to 3. So, of course, it was well below, what I could have been making elsewhere, but it was with lupus, and I was passionate about it, And from
getting
there,
you ready for lupus
of Detroit. Didn't know that, right? The heavens opened. In my first year there, I was able to acquire $1 million in sponsorships, grants, and $1 million and publicity. So all of that, Chuck did the math, accumulated to about $1 million.
Absolutely.
I met a woman. Producer of A Wider World. It was a half-hour news show that still comes on PBS.
Okay.
And once she filmed the show and it was on PBS, it went viral. Little did I know, as I'm sitting at work at the lupus organization, it had been added to another story about, the link was included on a story about Snoop Dogg's daughter having lupus.
Wow.
So as people are reading about Snoop Dogg's daughter Corey, the link to my segment is there.
Wow.
So it gets like 40,000 views in 4 hours.
In 4 hours.
And so the phone is lighting up at the lupus organization. And I don't know, we don't know why. We're like, where are you all? I mean, people from literally Kingston, Jamaica, people from California, people from New York are calling the lupus office. And we don't know why, Barbara. They're like, oh, well, it's a link on the story with Snoop Dogg's daughter.
Oh.
So, and then that year was the first year that the walk had a sponsorship from a radio station. A radio station in Detroit sponsored us that year. I mean, just so much happened. Like I said, the heavens just opened up, so the word was getting, God is amazing.
He is amazing.
Word is just getting out about this girl at lupus, and I'm out speaking at different churches and events and things like that. And even then didn't see what God was doing. I saw it as, okay, I'm just speaking about lupus and I'm getting paid. Yay. I can contribute to the household now.
Unbelievable.
Super.
Then
we were able to have our first commercial. I found ways, DMC in Detroit helped finance a commercial, and a traveling dental service helped finance this commercial. So, word is getting out about, so I'm... Only God. And Snoop Dogg was having a concert in the city. Long story short, I reached out to his wife's representative because their daughter has lupus. And she's like, oh yeah, I'll come a day early to help you do the media rounds. Because, just opening your, what they say, closed mouths don't get fed, Unfortunately, the concert was canceled. But just to know the small victories that God, the faith increasers, as I call them. One day I was on Twitter and saw Michael Keith of 112, and he was very popular. In the 90s. Well, his group was very popular. I remember, I shouldn't say this, skipping school one day to go to Second City. On my birthday. One of my best girlfriends, her birthday's in January. So she had her driver's license. I didn't have mine yet. So I got mine on March 26th, and they were at Second City. And Shana drove us. when we cut in school, Barbara, to go see 112. And so I never forget.
It's all in God's plan.
It's only God's plan. So here it is, years later. His mom has lupus. So I saw that they were having a concert in Detroit. So I tweeted him, hey, we're having this function here. Can you come and, just sit at our table at this function? Sure. So early that morning we were guests on a news show that morning to promote it. And he was there, and then he kept his word. He came to at that time I had Lupus Detroit. He came to Lupus Detroit function, met people, was very gracious, such a kind guy. Michael Keith, great guy.
Great guy.
I mean that's how things happen. For me. So
when God has a work for you,
He
knows how to arrange things and orchestrates things and just sets everything up
according to His plan.
According to His plan.
So
and you're going to have that full-time position real soon.
That's my prayer.
You have just done an awesome job, and when I look and see all of what you've done in organizing Lupus of Detroit, and where God is going to take you, because I'm saying that He's going to take you much further.
Thank you.
That you can be a blessing to a multitude of people, as you already have.
Thank you.
But I think it's going to be on a global scene.
Oh, thank you.
Because it's needed. There's so many people who don't even have an idea of what it is. And it might share with you, my sister had lupus.
Right, yeah.
And it took, I would think it was like years. I know it was a long time before she was actually diagnosed, because she has systemic lupus.
Okay.
And sometimes we just don't have that knowledge, and who knows what was going on when they were diagnosing her.
Right.
But it took a while, and she still struggles with it. So as I said earlier, I want you to meet her someday, because the inspiration, sometimes how we approach or how we feel or respond to situations, it helps us to get through it if we respond in the right way. And I'm just thankful to God that you responded.
Thank you.
In the right way, because you could have just gotten depressed and just said, well, why would I even want to think about being an airline stewardess?
Right, yeah.
I mean, that takes a lot of
strength
and
energy. Because you deal with hundreds of different personalities a day. And to go up and down in that airplane. And that was the primary reason that I had to quit, because going up and down, it was hard on my joints. And I said, well, God, we gave it a good 6 years. I went everywhere I wanted to go. Everywhere I wanted to go by just paying the taxes on the ticket. Paris for $20. Only thing I had to pay for was my hotel room once I got there.
Wow.
No, yeah, of course. I for 6 years, it was wonderful.
That's awesome.
And to go back to something that you discussed, the time to be diagnosed. They say it's 4 years for someone to receive an accurate diagnosis of lupus. That's a long time.
That's a long time to be wondering what's wrong with me.
What's wrong with me? And psychologically, emotionally, it's expensive because they're saying, they initially thought I had Crohn's. So as I'm taking medication and Prevacid for Crohn's, that adds up. Because the symptoms of lupus mimic
the Crohn's disease
and of other diseases, the MS, the neurological problems. Because I have neuropathy to this day, Barbara, in my feet, where it feels like ants are running up and down my feet. And that started when I started the chemo, which I'm no longer on. Now, I'm no longer on the chemo, thank God, but I still have the neuropathy in my feet from time to time.
Now, just for our audience sake, why did they do the chemo?
Because to get my kidneys back on track.
For
me, it was my kidneys.
Your kidneys, okay.
And I was on the CellCept for about 2.5 years. And see, I was caught out there without any, without health insurance, medication insurance, and health insurance. So what happened is that I had to go through the manufacturer of the CellCept, where I was able to get it for free.
Wow.
Thank God. And then
God is just at work.
God was at work. Yes, He was. And then He hooked me up with the fine folks when I was able to be employed with some medication insurance. The fine folks at HealthWell. It was still expensive. So HealthWell is a foundation where it'll subsidize the cost of your medication. So that that CellCept was still so expensive, but HealthWell helped subsidize it, so I can still take it. And then then I didn't need it any longer because my health turned around favorably.
Yes, and you look great.
Thank you.
Oh, you do.
I appreciate that.
Let's talk about Lupus of Detroit.
Okay.
How it got started, and where you're going, and how people can get in touch with you, and the services that you provide for them.
Lupus Detroit, it was just a thought. A couple of years ago when I worked at another lupus organization in Michigan, because I felt that the organization just simply could do more.
Yes.
You know, at the time it was in St. Clair Shores, and we needed to be where the people most likely to have lupus were. You know, majority African American women are diagnosed with lupus, and also Latino women. And while it does affect other cultures, it affects African American women the most, and also men. And unfortunately, when it affects men, it's usually it hits them harder. It hits them a lot harder. It makes them feel a lot worse.
Wow, interesting.
And I felt, you know, everyone knows, you know, Detroit filed for bankruptcy and the gloom and doom that's in Detroit. More of a reason to go closer to the need, you know, in my mind. And I hate saying patient, so I coined the phrase lupus warriors when I was at the other organization, because we are warriors. We go through a lot. Absolutely. We're fighting. You know, we're much more in my mind than survivors. To me, you know, I think of the Good Times theme song, shrimping and surviving. You know, we're doing more than surviving. You know, we're warriors. We're battling. And so I said, yeah, with the bankruptcy in Detroit, yeah, we need money. You know, lupus warriors shouldn't have to decide between putting food on their tables and paying their DTE bill. They shouldn't have to decide between their medications and paying their mortgage. To me, you know, I can do something about that. You know, because, you know, I've had all of these little faith increasers, and I feel I can do anything in Christ. I'm a bad girl now. You know, I can do so much with God. You know, and I said, somehow God is going to make this happen. You know, Barbara, as we discussed with the nonprofit, everything has a fee. You know, IRS want a fee to file the paperwork, and this needs to be done. We need a website, and everything costs money. But I said, okay, I'll sacrifice. And my mother said, I believe in what you're doing. Honey, you stay here. Mama got your back.
All right now. My
mother, you know, she's wonderful. That Sandra Harris is something special. Because a lot of children don't want to go home. My mom said, you come here. We're going to make this thing happen.
Oh, man.
And so my mother said, come on back home. So I said, okay, I'm going to come back home. You know, I'm going to come back home. And Lupus Detroit was born. We've been a 501c3 officially a year now.
Oh, good.
But even prior to that, God is so good. Prior to that, we had our first Lupus Walk at New Center Park. And God connected me with the Detroit police. And we have a great officer, Paul Sahadi. We actually walked through the streets, him and some of his colleagues of Detroit. We started at New Center Park. They gave us the park for free. The first walk, Barbara, I think like 150 people. We raised over $5,000. Now she's a city council president. Brenda Jones came and presented us with the Spirit of Detroit Award for our great work. And the money raised we award emergency financial grants to lupus warriors in Michigan.
Wow, praise God.
The second year, Officer Sahadi was back with us, you know, guiding us. Wayne State, I can't think of the chief's name. You know, they all helped too, you know, just keeping people safe. We had over 200 walkers. Amazing. Our goal was $10,000. We raised $17,000 in our second year. God, and that was the first year that we were a charity. So meaning the people that gave in the first year, they didn't care about not getting a tax donation receipt. They didn't care. Wow. They gave it because of the cause.
Isn't that amazing?
And it was when over 200 people, we ran out of registration forms. And there were two lots near New Center Park. They gave us the lots for free. No one had to pay for parking.
You see God's hand just all in the mix.
All over it.
All over.
And the local news, you know.
And you've been on every TV station.
Like you said, God. He makes provision for his purpose. God, I never saw this coming. Like I said, I was so angry when I left Tallahassee the second time because I had my own business, you know, called the shots, did eyelashes when I wanted to, slept until noon. And God said, Sharon, no, you won't sleep until noon. You know, hanging out at the club.
I have better things than
for you,
lashes.
right? For you, I have something more than lashes. You know, I'm at the club having fun, drinking all my little Shirley Temples, till my stomach hurt. So God really has aligned people, and it's so funny because I was so timid in asking these specialists, that they would be on my board, and they all received it wonderfully. Like, yeah, of course, because I'm thinking I didn't have the big name and this and that.
Because God has already
already aligned people. And one of the Clark sisters, Jackie Clark Chisholm, is our spokesperson.
Really? Wow.
I saw her in a picture with the 102.7 DJ, Randy Miles. They were, this is our sign, the L sign, L for lupus. So lupus awareness month, a year ago, last May, I saw them in a picture, and I, contacted Randy, and I said, Randy, can I use this picture, in our marketing material? She said, well, yeah, you can use it, but make sure, just so everything's okay, contact Miss Jackie's assistant, because he took the picture. And so when I contacted his assistant, he was like, oh, of course. And then he texted me back and said, Miss Jackie would like to be your spokesperson. Wow. When I will say no, of course she can.
Of course she can.
What else does Miss Jackie want to do? Awesome. And so she's our spokesperson. So God is aligning people. And it's so funny, Barbara, because I always, I go after these high-profile people that everyone knows nationally, because I think that they would give us, more exposure. And people always say what they're going to do, because I went after some pretty popular people, that I think, to usher us in. But God said, girl, relax. I got this.
I got it under control.
I got this. And it's going to be the common folk like you that's going to push you forward. And that's what has been. Nobody knows. Sharon Harris, if you say that to somebody in California, it's like, who? It's my board members and I. And my church, I have a wonderful church. Second New Hope in Ferndale, Michigan. When I tell you that they showed up in big numbers with T-shirts, the church raised over $1,000 to count towards the walk. That's what I mean. It's us common folks with a heart for God that are pushing this thing forward.
Because lupus is not one of those diseases that people get every day.
It's not a sexy disease, if I can say sexy. It's not breast cancer.
Exactly.
The whole world is pink in October.
Yes.
The entire world is pink during breast cancer month. I saw a dumpster that was pink. I said, Lord Jesus, and one day we can get us an orange dumpster.
You can have your own month.
Yes. May is lupus.
This month.
Praise and I said, we're going to get us an orange dumpster, an orange lawnmower. We're going to just paint the town orange. One day, just give me some time. It's going to happen.
Well, it's going to come a point when you're going to have your own office.
Yes, ma'am.
And no job.
Yes.
Except for Lupus of Detroit.
I'll be the executive director.
And I just believe one day you're going to do a book, because it will bless so many lives.
How did you know Barbara One was in the works? See, that's my first love, writing. Because, I grew up, thank you. I grew up saying I wanted to be the next Oprah. But God said, honey, it's already Oprah. And there's one Sharon Harris. And so God said, I'm going to fix it. And see, I've been writing this book forever, and I always would think, Lord.
Thank you, Lord.
Thank you, Lord. I always say, well, Lord, when is it going to come into fruition? When is this book going to manifest? And he said, hold on. You haven't lived enough yet.
Yeah. There's some other things I want to do that will go in the book that will be a greater blessing.
Yeah. I'm going to write a book when I'm 22. Girl, you ain't lived. Hush. You only had lupus for 6 months. You're just not ready yet. But look at how I'm going to provide. And look how, the ebb and flow of life. You haven't experienced enough yet.
And you've been on more broadcasts than...
Right, that needed to happen, right?
Really?
That needed to happen.
Need to happen.
Yeah, Channel 20.
Essence Magazine. Yeah. Michigan Chronicle. And all the other Fox 2. CTN TV.
The Essence, that's so funny, Barbara, because that was right in the November last year issue. It's November 1st. And I'm like, Kim, I didn't know. And 2 of my friends were in that magazine. So, of course, I'm blasting them on Facebook. Hey, this is my friend I'm so proud of.
And you're in there, too.
And I'm in there, too. Didn't know. And even what's so funny, one time I had read the magazine when I was getting my hair done. I'm in the magazine, didn't even know. It's God again. And then Madame Noor, it's an online publication type deal. Okay. Yep, Madame Noor. They made me the Monday Madame one day in September.
Okay.
So they used this picture of me, and Barbara, all of the commenters, forget lupus, they said, is that Michelle Obama's little sister? So now I have this resemblance, and I have to show you the picture, because at first I'm like, I don't see it. But
Isn't that
someone
strange?
put my picture up.
I can see it right in
Well,
here.
up in here,
Uh-huh.
and the cheekbones, they say, and a picture of the first lady, and like something about lupus, and they sent it to me, and I said, "Oh yeah, I could be her sister."
Wow.
And so that happened. And then
That is amazing.
I represented the Health Well Foundation at a conference in March, and so they put up the same picture.
Mm-hmm.
All these comments about me looking like the first lady again.
Does the first lady know about the article?
We tweeted her.
Okay.
I tweeted her and everything.
Okay.
And quite a few people have
Okay.
tweeted her. And when I'm out and about,
Mm-hmm.
people would say, "You know, you look like." Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Either you get that or Cicely Tyson, which I think is a great compliment.
Mm-hmm.
Cicely Tyson.
Yeah.
Oh my God! You know how much history is there?
Oh my goodness.
And what's so funny? People sometimes they're hesitant to tell me
Mhm.
Cicely Tyson. I don't mind that.
No.
I don't mind that at
Mm-mm.
all.
She's
But
a-
she's
awesome.
She's an awesome, and I would
Mhm.
love to meet Cicely Tyson, of course. And
Yeah.
I must admit, I almost got teary Friday because the first lady was here.
Oh,
And
and I didn't know that.
She was here,
Okay.
signing day for college students.
Okay.
And I was kind of teary, like, Lord, please work it out. But if not today, she has round ball one. She can always make it happen. Lord can
Yes,
always make that
absolutely.
connection.
He's made all this happen.
That's what I said. So I said one day I
Like
will
he can
meet.
do anything.
He can do it.
He
I
can
will
do
meet the
anything.
first lady. But it tickled me that
Yes.
first lady compared, because I honestly didn't see it until someone put the pictures together.
Mm-hmm.
And then just to hear so many people say online,
Yeah.
about the resemblance. I said,
Oh,
I'll take that. We love the first lady.
Yes,
around
we'll take
in my
that.
household. But,
So all of this had to happen before the book.
But yes, yes, ma'am.
So
I see it now.
You can see it now.
I see it
So
now.
I have a plan,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna work it out according to my plan.
To my plan. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that scripture in Jeremiah. God, he says, "Now I know the plans I have for you." Meaning, God says, "I know you may have a plan,
Mhm.
but I have a better plan because
what
I know
plan?
what I have for you."
Yes, ma'am.
And He
So
knows
it's a
what He
picture.
has for Sharon.
Yeah, we have to stand on it.
Yes, well, Sharon, it's lots going on.
Yeah.
There's a function you're having
Yes.
the 27th of June.
Mm-hmm.
You want to tell our audience about Victory Out of Adversity. What a good title.
Yes, yeah, you know
Yes,
what? And I have
like
to be
that.
honest. Luana Rolek and Beverly Humphrey, they're lupus warriors.
Okay.
And they used to put the function on for another lupus organization.
Mm-hmm.
And they liked what we were doing over at Lupus Detroit. And so they asked me if they could plan the lunch for Lupus Detroit. Of course you can.
Of course you can.
Of course you can. You did a wonderful job.
Yes.
In years past planning it.
Mm.
And so they asked me to find the keynote speaker. And I had heard Elder Sheila Van of Second Ebenezer speak once before about the Queen Within.
The Queen Within.
Was the name of
I
her
like that.
of her speech, and I was floored.
Mm,
And I said, "Yeah, we got to have her,
The Queen Within.
the Queen Within."
Wow.
And
I like that.
I was floored, and so
Mhm.
she's so graciously agreed to speak again.
And it's going to be on...
It's going to be June the 27th at Vassal's Banquet Hall at
Vassal's.
11 o'clock.
That's on
And
Telegram.
8 Mile?
8 Mile. Yes, yes.
Sorry, 8
I
Mile.
think
Yep,
it's
8 Mile. Yep.
Yes.
26750 West 8 Mile Road on Saturday, June the 27th. The doors will open at 11, and we have a special guest, Ivory D. Williams. He's a master storyteller, very inspirational and
Yes.
encouraging. And that's what we
Okay,
need,
that's
you know,
good.
especially
Mhm.
what's happening around the world.
Mhm.
You know, we
Mhm.
really need some dynamic speakers to kind of guide us, give us some
Yes.
insight,
Amen.
give us some encouragement.
Amen.
So the tickets are $25.
Very
And
good
for a
price.
table of 10. Yeah, very cheap. I
Yeah.
had a fundraiser. I attended a fundraiser yesterday. The tickets were $55. And they all serve the same chicken.
And
know?
if you keep it reasonable, you can get more.
You can get more people. It's affordable.
Yes.
You know, and if
Yes.
it's like you and your 2 children, everyone can come.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Absolutely.
You know?
Well, Sharon, you are just doing an awesome job.
Thank you.
And God is just
Thank
leading you, supporting you, directing you,
Yes. Thank you.
and giving you the strength to do all that He has called you to do.
Yeah.
It's a calling.
It is a calling. I
It's
don't
a
think that
calling.
people realize that,
Mhm,
Barbara.
mhm.
You know, they see the output. They see the fundraisers. We
Mhm.
also have one May the 23rd at the Gathering.
Okay.
And DMC has sponsored that.
Okay.
United Healthcare has sponsored it.
Okay.
And Comerica, the
Mhm.
branch at
Okay.
8 Mile and Gratiot. You know,
Okay.
they've sponsored it. And we have a couple of more if I can.
Mm-hmm.
Utilize Consulting
Oh,
has
yes.
sponsored it, The Gathering. There's a chef, Chef Moore. His sister has lupus. And so he's making all of the food for this affair. And it's at The Gathering on May the 23rd. It's an
Okay.
evening gala, so you come in, you're after
Okay.
5.
All right.
It's wonderful, and all of this information can be found on our website, www.lupusdetroit.org, and Twitter, Lupus Detroit, and Facebook. Yeah, Lupus, everyone knows Facebook.
Okay,
Lupus
so
Detroit,
they can go to your
fortunate.
website and they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, more information about the
Absolutely.
events.
But Sharon, it's just so good to see you again.
Thank you, and it's wonderful to see you. Thanks for remembering me.
I
Yeah, because that was
remember
over a year ago.
It's been a while.
Last February,
Yes,
Barbara.
it's been a while.
Last
I
February.
gotta have Sharon on the show.
Oh, thank you for keeping us in mind.
Yes, because we need to get the word out. People might want to donate.
Yes, and people might need help.
It may need help.
Financial assistance.
Financial assistance.
Yeah.
So,
Everything will come together.
well, this has been an awesome day.
Thank you.
Visiting
It
with
has.
you and
Thank
sharing,
you.
and you sharing with our audience all about Lupus of Detroit.
Yes, yes.
And what God has anointed, He will provide.
Amen.
He'll give the provision. So
Yes, He will.
you don't have to worry.
Thank you for that. Because
Yes.
I used to be I used to be a warrior, Barbara. But like you said, if God is in it, I can meet
Yes.
First Lady Michelle Obama at the corner of 6 Mile and Southfield. Maybe she stopped there for some gas. I mean, you never know.
And just listening to you and all the things that God has just put there in your path.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do is just act
Show
on
up.
what He showed you to do.
Thank you.
So thank you again for coming.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Sharon, it's just been a joy having you on the show today.
Thank you.
And all of what you're doing for Lupus of Detroit. And God has been providing, and He will continue to provide.
Thank you.
That's what He has anointed. He's going to make provisions for.
Amen.
So thank you again.
Thank you
for
the
coming.
invitation and remembering us.
Yes.
And God bless you and all your endeavors.
Thank you. Thank you. This has been Heart Expressions with Barbara, and we will see you on next time.